Right, we are going to continue with calculating time differences on the time zone ribbon. So this is very, very important. When you read a time zone sum, first identify the two cities that you are going to work with. And remember, you can only work with two cities at a time. Okay, then determine the applicable time zones from the map. So you are going to look for those two cities if it's not given to you. And then you are going to say, okay, now I jump from the one to the other one. Okay, and again here, this is very important that you understand this part. If I have to jump between Johannesburg and New York, Johannesburg is on +2, okay, and New York is on -5. So let's say I jump now from New York towards Johannesburg. Can you see I jump on -4 and this is count 1. Okay, and then count number 2, count 3, count 4, count 5, count 6, count 7. So there's 7 hours or 7 time zones difference between the two cities. So right now we're going to go on and we say, how are we going to do a time zone sum? So here it is now written out for you what you have to do, what is very important. If the one city is west from the other city, the city that you have the time for, and that's the other city is west from there, then you are going to minus the time difference. And if you move east to the other city, then you plus the time difference. Okay, so one city will always have the time, and the other city is the time that you have to determine. Okay, and then if you come there where you have to add flying time and stuff, then we will talk about that. It is also written down there for you. So here is your first sum, and we call this thing the visible method, because you can see here the lines and everything. So it says calculate the time in New York when it is 10 o'clock in South Africa. So I'm saying to you that it is 10 o'clock in South Africa. I would like to know what is the time in New York. Okay, so I write down my two cities here. But what is important here is I cannot swap the two cities now, because I go from the left hand side. As we write from left to the right hand side on a paper. So I start with my time zone map on the left hand side, and I work my way through to the right hand side, or then obviously to the east. I start west, I move to the east. So the first city that I'm going to get, if I refer to New York and South Africa or Johannesburg, will then be New York. So if I give you a time zone map that looks like this, you are going to see, if I start here, the first city that I'm going to get is New York. And if I continue here, I'm going to get South Africa. So it means I'm going to have a line here that represents New York. I'm going to have a line here that represents South Africa. And that is what we call then the visible method. So do you see, I cannot swap the two cities there, because if I go from left on my time zone map, I first get New York, and then I'm going to get South Africa. Okay, and then it says here, I made a note here for you that says the two vertical lines representing the two cities must be the same position as the location of the cities on the map. Okay, now I say, okay, I have New York, I have South Africa. Now I complete this information. New York is on -5 and South Africa is on +2. Okay, now I continue with the rest of it, and I say that the time is 10 o'clock in South Africa, so I write down the 10 o'clock underneath the South Africa line. Okay, now do I know the time in New York? No, I don't know the time in New York. That is why there is a red arrow, question mark, sorry. Now I draw an arrow. This is now this big red one. I make an arrow from the time that I know to the question mark. Okay, and this is going to determine what are you going to do with that time difference. So it says the arrow shows towards the question mark to determine east or west. Okay, now I write down, it is 10 o'clock in South Africa. Okay, where is my time zone map? We determined now that I'm going to go from +2 in South Africa. I jump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours. Nee. Okay, so I jump my 7 hours, and now I know that the time difference between the two is 7 hours of difference. And because I have to move west to go from South Africa to New York, it will be the minus the 7 hours there.